The most spectacular buildings in the world soar into the clouds, pierce the sky, and push the boundaries of what seems possible. But what if I told you that height isn't the only way to measure architectural ambition? What if I told you that right now, across the globe, we're witnessing a revolution in how we think about skyscrapers, not just reaching up, but bending, curving, and stretching across the sky in ways that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. From Dubai's record-shattering ambitions to a mind-bending U-shaped skyscraper in Manhattan, we're about to explore the most audacious building projects ever conceived. Don't forget to show your support by giving this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can continue creating amazing content. Let's start with something that's happening right now in Dubai, a city that's already home to the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. You might think they'd be content with that achievement, but no, not Dubai. Meet the Burj Azizi. At 2,379 feet, this architectural marvel is set to become the world's second tallest building. Marweh Azizi, the founder of Azizi Developments, had a vision that went far beyond just adding another tall building to Dubai's skyline. The Burj Azizi isn't just about height, it's about redefining luxury in the vertical realm. Imagine stepping into the world's highest hotel lobby on the 11th floor, or sipping cocktails at the world's highest nightclub on the 126th floor. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can take in the views from the world's highest observation deck on the 130th floor. They're not just building up, they're building an entire vertical city. The 131-story skyscraper will house luxury apartments, a 7-star hotel, and a 7-floor vertical shopping mall. The price tag for all this? A cool $1.6 billion. Now, let's hop across the globe to China, where something equally ambitious is taking shape. The XCES Tower A in Nanjing is set to become one of the most remarkable additions to China's already impressive collection of super tall buildings. If you stand at the confluence of 3 rivers, the Yangtze, Zhejiang, and Xinhai, you'll see that this is where the XCES Tower will rise 580 meters into the sky. But what makes this tower unique is how it draws inspiration from its surroundings. The design team looked at the patterns created by the flowing waters of the Yangtze River and translated them into architecture. The result? A building that seems to flow like water frozen in time, with a facade that catches light and throws it back in constantly changing patterns, just like the river that inspired it. And sure, the aesthetic is amazing, but there's more. The building shape actually helps it deal with wind forces and optimizes the views from every floor. What's particularly fascinating about the XCES Tower is that it's not just a single building. It's the centerpiece of an entire new financial district. The master plan includes a series of complementary towers, a 100-meter office tower, a 155-meter office tower, a 220-meter office tower, a 350-meter office tower, and an 86-meter residential tower. Together, they'll create a new skyline that transforms this part of Nanjing. Another ambitious project currently in development is happening right here in the United States, in a place you might not expect. Oklahoma City's about to make history with the Legends Tower. And trust me, this isn't your average skyscraper. At 1,907 feet tall, the Legends Tower isn't just going to be tall. It's going to be the tallest building in North America, surpassing One World Trade Center by more than 130 feet. And that height isn't random. It's a deliberate reference to the year Oklahoma became a state. Just like One World Trade Center's height of 1,776 feet references the year of American independence, the Legends Tower is weaving Oklahoma's history into its very structure. And when completed, it'll become the 6th tallest building in the world. This tower is actually part of a larger development called the Boardwalk at Bricktown. Think of it as a vertical city within a city, with 134 floors of mixed-use space that will completely transform the Oklahoma City skyline. And the development plan is ambitious. The tower will house a Hyatt hotel, luxury apartments, high-end retail spaces, and restaurants. But it doesn't stop there. The Boardwalk at Bricktown development will also include 3 other high-rise buildings, each reaching 345 feet, the residential Ruby Tower and Emerald Tower, plus the Dream Hotel. At the base, there's going to be a multi-level shopping complex that's largely outdoors, creating a vibrant street-level experience that connects these towering structures to the neighborhood around them. What's particularly interesting about this project is how it almost didn't happen. The area where it's being built had a height restriction of 300 feet, But in June 2024, the Oklahoma City Council voted 8-1 to approve this massive deviation from the norm. Speaking of innovative designs, let's head back to Dubai, where they're about to add another jewel to their architectural crown, the Eternitas Tower, and this is going to be the world's tallest residential clock tower, standing at an impressive 1,476 feet. To put that into perspective, it's more than 4 times the height of London's Big Ben, and just 22 meters shy of the world's tallest residential building, New York's Central Park Tower. But first, hear its origin story. The developer, London Gate, purchased a plot of land that already had the beginnings of an unfinished 106-story structure. Rather than start from scratch, they saw an opportunity to create something unique. They partnered with Swiss luxury watchmaker Frank Muller to create a building that would be both a residential tower and a timepiece visible from 6 kilometers away. The clock face itself is a work of art, 40 meters tall and 30 meters wide, inspired by Frank Muller's Art Deco-style Long Island collection. The entire building is infused with elements from watch design, from the curved walls that echo the shape of Frank Muller's Curvex watch to the use of brushed and polished metals throughout the interior. When completed, it'll be the world's second tallest clock tower, surpassed only by the Makkah Clock Royal Tower in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. But the Eternitas Tower is much more than just a giant timepiece. The building will house 649 luxury residences, ranging from 1 to 3 bedroom apartments to exclusive villa and mansion duplexes. The developers are taking the concept of luxury living to new heights. Quite literally, residents will enjoy hotel-like amenities with 24-hour concierge service, valet parking, and housekeeping, all while maintaining the privacy of a residential building. But now let's talk about something that completely changes the game: the Big Ben. Imagine looking at Manhattan's skyline and seeing something that looks like a giant paperclip made of glass and steel. That's exactly what architecture firm OEO Studios proposing with the Big Ben, a building that would literally bend over backward to become the world's longest building. The concept behind the Big Ben is brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of just building up, why not build up and over? At 4,000 feet long, it would be about 1,000 feet longer than the Burj Khalifa if you were to unfold it. The design came from a fascinating challenge. How do you create more usable space in Manhattan when you can't build out, and there are limits to building up? The answer came from elevator technology. The Big Ben would use innovative elevators that can travel both vertically and horizontally, following the curve of the building. Think about that for a second. You could start going up in an elevator and then suddenly find yourself moving sideways as you follow the bend of the building. But the Big Bend isn't just about showing off what's technically possible. It's actually a clever response to New York City's zoning laws. In Manhattan, developers can purchase air rights from neighboring buildings, but height often translates to higher costs. The curved design of the Big Bend provides a unique loophole. It can occupy more airspace without technically increasing its height. From the glittering spires of Dubai to the heartland ambitions of Oklahoma City, from the flowing forms of Nanjing to the impossible curves of Manhattan's future skyline, we're watching architecture break free from the simple question of how high. These aren't just buildings anymore. They're vertical cities, time-telling giants, and gravity-defying sculptures that bend our imagination as much as they bend steel and glass. Jeddah Tower, Saudi Arabia. The Jeddah Tower project, formerly known as the Kingdom Tower, is an ambitious project that aims to surpass the current record held by the Burj Khalifa in Dubai to become the world's tallest building. Located in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, this skyscraper is designed to reach a projected height of over 1 kilometer, making it a true architectural marvel and an unprecedented feat of engineering. Since its inception, Jeddah Tower has been a symbol of Saudi Arabia's desire to shine on the world stage and demonstrate its ability to undertake large-scale visionary projects. Its design reflects a combination of advanced technology and stunning aesthetics, with a sleek and elegant form that rises majestically above the city's skyline. However, as is often the case with projects of this magnitude, Jeddah Towers faced a number of challenges and delays throughout its development. Factors such as technical complexity, construction logistics, and changes in urban planning have contributed to these setbacks. The opening date for Jeddah Towers not yet been officially confirmed. Despite these obstacles, construction has resumed and is expected to progress towards completion. The commitment and determination of the construction teams and investors have been instrumental in overcoming the challenges and moving the project forward. Suzhou Jiangnan Center, China. The Suzhou Jiangnan Center is a massive skyscraper project under construction in the city of Suzhou, China. as part of the area's ongoing urban development. With a planned height of over 800 meters, this imposing building is expected to rival the tallest skyscrapers in the world when completed. The design and planning of the Suzhou Jiangnan Center reflect China's ambition to shine on the global stage and drive economic and urban development in the region. Located in a strategic area of Suzhou, the skyscraper will not only be an architectural landmark, but also a hub for the city's commercial, residential, and cultural activities. The project's made significant progress in recent years, with major advances in the construction of the building and related infrastructure. As construction continues, the Suzhou Jiangnan Center is expected to become the centerpiece of Suzhou's skyline and a symbol of China's growth and modernization. The Suzhou Jiangnan Center is expected to open in late 2025. Merdeka Skyscraper, Malaysia. The Merdeka Skyscraper, located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, is an impressive project that's already inaugurated its first phase in 2023 and is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year, 2024. With a height of over 700 meters and 118 floors, it'll be the tallest building in Southeast Asia. The skyscraper's most striking feature is its geometric, faceted glass facade, which gives it a modern and distinctive appearance. Inside, Merdeka will house an impressive array of functions, including 100 residential floors, 83 office floors, 12 hotel room floors, and the highest observation deck in the region. This project will not only be a symbol of Malaysia's progress and development, but will also provide a multifunctional space for living, working, and leisure. With its imposing height and innovative design, the Merdeka skyscraper promises to be an architectural landmark and a prominent attraction in the Kuala Lumpur skyline. The most prominent project, and likely favorite to win this race, is the skyscraper in Saudi Arabia, which is expected to exceed 1,000 meters in height, dwarfing Dubai's Burj Khalifa. Known for its vast oil wealth and development ambitions, Saudi Arabia has become a hub for mega construction in recent years. These monumental structures are a testament to Saudi Arabia's desire to stand out on the world stage and project an image of modernity and progress. In addition to skyscrapers, Saudi Arabia has invested in a number of mega urban development, infrastructure, and tourism projects, such as Neom, a futuristic city under construction in the northwestern region of the country, and the Red Sea Coastal Development Project, which aims to transform the Saudi coast into a world-class tourist destination. Some 1 kilometer tall battery skyscraper. We begin with a skyscraper that not only touches the sky, but also harnesses gravity to generate energy. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, the renowned architecture firm Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, or SOM, is working to turn this vision into reality. With a planned height of 1,000 meters or 3,280 feet, this skyscraper would easily surpass the current tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, which stands at 828 meters or 2,717 feet. But its height isn't the only impressive feature. We're talking about a giant battery. How does it work? Inside, massive weights are lifted using excess renewable energy, a technology known as a gravitational energy storage system, or GESS. When electricity is needed, these weights are released, generating energy as they descend. It's like a giant yo-yo that produces electricity. SOM claims that this system, called G-Vault, would allow the structure to generate and store several gigawatt hours of electricity. To put this into perspective, 1 gigawatt hour is enough to power approximately 100,000 homes for an hour. But this is just the beginning. This skyscraper won't just generate energy for itself. It'll also power the nearby buildings, creating a future where buildings are not just places to live and work, but also urban power plants. When will we be ready to pack our bags and live in this vertical city? Well, the timeline for this project hasn't been announced yet, as it's still in the conceptual phase. And while we get used to being a bit patient, let's move on to the next giant architectural project, the Mile High Illinois in Chicago. The Mile High Illinois, also known as Illinois Sky City, was a groundbreaking concept proposed by the legendary architect Frank Lloyd Wright in 1956. With a proposed height of 1,609 meters, or 1 mile, this skyscraper would have been twice as tall as the current tallest building in the world. Wright's design for this massive building included 528 floors and a total area of 18.46 million square feet, or 1.71 squared kilometers. To put this in perspective, that's about the size of 320 football fields. The structure was designed to house 130,000 people, about the population of a medium-sized city. The building would have had 76 atomic-powered elevators, reflecting the atomic age optimism of the 1950s. The design design also included 15,000 parking spaces for cars and platforms for 150 helicopters, anticipating the transportation needs of a vertical city. Oh, if only those 15,000 parking spaces had at least become a reality. But why wasn't it built? Well, although the interior of the building was meticulously planned, it would have included offices, residences, shops, hotels, concert halls. With a capacity for 70,000 people, the top 9 floors were reversed for television production, a truly visionary idea for the time, which would also make it profitable. The truth is that the overall cost was too high, even for a project like this. Wright estimated that the building would cost $3 billion back then. Adjusted for inflation, that would be over $30 billion today. But even though the Mile High Illinois was never built, its influence on modern architecture is undeniable. The design served as inspiration for the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, currently the tallest building in the world. The Aeropolis 2001 in Japan. Now let's go back to Japan in 1989. The economy's booming, and Japanese architects are dreaming big. Really big. Enter Aeropolis 2001, a skyscraper so tall it dwarfs others, with a planned height of 2,001 meters, or 6,565 feet and 500 floors. It would be almost 5 times taller than the old World Trade Center in New York. If it were built today, it would be the tallest structure ever made by humans. But Aeropolis 2001 isn't just a tall building. It's a whole city in the sky, designed to house 300,000 workers and 140,000 residents. This megastructure would have everything: offices, apartments, cinemas, schools, hospitals, and even post offices. Worried about reaching the 500th floor? Don't be. The designers envisioned a shuttle elevator for 300 people, whisking you from the ground to the top in just 15 minutes. Now, let's pause to admire its structure. Its giant framework of steel and glass, held up by huge pillars made of steel and ceramics. At the intersections of these pillars, there would be 50-meter-wide glass spheres to capture sunlight and spread it throughout the building using optical fibers. From this point, its design emphasized self-sufficiency, harnessing solar and wind energy to control its indoor temperature. It's like a complete ecosystem in one place. Unfortunately, this dream was never built, but its idea is still very much alive in new projects. It might just be a matter of time before Obayashi Corporation, the company that proposed the project, estimated that it would take at least 25 years to build and cost 46 trillion yen, about $343 billion at the time. Adjusted for inflation, that would be over $700 billion today. Maybe, just maybe, we need to find a way to lower that cost, and we'd have the world's tallest building. Shimizu Mega City Pyramid in Japan. Now, let's stay in Japan because there's more to explore. When we talk about megastructures, we mean it seriously, and this one is so massive that it could fit the entire population of San Francisco and still have plenty of space left. Welcome to the Shimizu Mega City Pyramid. Standing at a height of 2,004 meters, it would be about 14 times taller than the Great Pyramid of Giza. But what's truly impressive isn't just its size, but what it contains. At this point, it's not just about being the biggest. The Shimizu Pyramid's designed to be a complete city, capable of housing between 750,000 and 1 million people. It's a real vertical metropolis. And how about its design? It's an engineering marvel. 204 separate pyramid-shaped pieces connected to create a massive pyramid. Each of these mini pyramids would be big enough to hold a 100-story skyscraper. The structure would rely on a framework of steel tubes and be covered in glass, letting natural light flood the entire building. Basically, it's like taking a whole city and shaping it into a pyramid. The base of the pyramid would sit on 36 massive concrete pillars anchored in the seabed. These would be the largest underwater foundations ever built, capable of supporting the enormous weight of the structure. And I know, out of all the ones we've seen, this sounds like the most complex to pull off. But guess what? The construction of the Shimizu Pyramid is estimated to cost around $600 billion. Sure, it sounds like a huge amount, but honestly, it's relatively modest compared to other mega projects on this list, which is good news because Shimizu Corporation has announced plans to start building the Mega City Pyramid in 2030. But hold off on celebrating too soon, because the aim is to finish it by 2110. Will we get to see this dream become a reality? If we do, it would be like the Titanic. It's been 86 years. The Ultima Tower in San Francisco. Let's head to the west coast of the United States, to San Francisco, where architect Eugene Sui envisioned the Ultima Tower in 1991. It's a daring structure, 2 miles tall and a mile wide. That's over 3 kilometers tall, nearly 4 times taller than today's tallest building. Ironically, the inspiration comes from something smaller, African termite mounds. Yes, we're not joking. Sui was inspired by these natural structures, which are the tallest non-human-made constructions, reaching heights of up to 30 feet. So, Sui took this concept and scaled it up to a colossal size capable of housing 1 million people, with 500 floors divided into 120 main levels, each with its own mini ecosystem. These ecosystems would feature lakes, artificial skies, hills, and rivers, creating a vertical natural landscape inside the building. So natural that instead of using air conditioning, it would rely on aerodynamic windows for cooling. Waterfalls on lower levels and a surrounding giant lake would provide natural cooling, similar to how water at the base of a termite mound cools the entire structure. And speaking of self-sufficiency, the Ultima Tower would be a model of sustainability. Its entire surface would be covered with solar cells, and a series of wind turbines would provide additional energy. The bathrooms would use composting, and there would be natural water purification systems. Although the Ultima Tower never progressed beyond the conceptual stage, its proposal remains fascinating. A future where cities grow upwards instead of outwards? We're excited about that prospect, but still, it's not as awe-inspiring as the last project we have to show you. But be careful not to strain your neck looking up at its towering height, disappearing into the clouds. Number 6. XCES 4000 in Japan. The XCES 4000 is perhaps the most ambitious skyscraper concept ever proposed. Designed by Taisei Corporation in 1995, this mega project pushes the limits of what's possible in vertical construction. Standing at a proposed height of 4,000 meters, or 13,123 feet, the XCES 4000 would surpass even Mount Fuji, Japan's tallest mountain. It would have 800 floors and be designed to house 1 million people, essentially functioning as a complete vertical city. Inspired by the shape of Mount Fuji, the XCES 4000 would take the form of a pyramid-like structure, with the base diameter of 6,000 meters narrowing towards the top. The structure would rest on a massive steel base 2,000 feet thick, allowing it to float on the ocean, creating an artificial island, a man-made marine mountain. And if that sounds impressive to you, just wait until you hear how it would operate. Each of its 30 main levels, each 100 meters tall, would be like a small city on its own. The building would have its own controlled internal climate, with systems to regulate temperature, humidity, and even air pressure as you go higher. And when it comes to moving around, can you imagine navigating within such a tall structure? The designers of the XCES 4000 had the solution: electromagnetic trains, or maglev. Now, here's the downside. Its construction would require over 3 million tons of steel and cost around $1.3 trillion. That's a budget higher than the GDP of many countries. As they say, the sky's the limit. But this time, the enormous costs are a significant barrier. Will we ever see these colossal structures towering over our city skylines? Maybe not exactly as we've imagined them here. But one thing's for sure, the spirit of innovation and ambition they embody is already shaping the buildings and cities of the future. But for now, keep an eye on Visionary, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when it's all set. Until next time.